Alright, back up. Putin moves south. Struggle for the Eurasian heartland from Modern War magazine. Yeah. Point. So definitely had enough playing around here with this game. Couple of partial games. And now it's pretty clear, again, still initial impressions, but a clear initial impression that due to the specific design of the game, the front lines are very fluid, and in fact they're also very porous, which is very interesting. And it's not even like the traditional weak Zocs. It's not even like that. The fact that you can, for example, buy and place reinforcements in friendly bases, even if those bases are deep in enemy territory, pretty interesting. Almost makes me wonder why the designer didn't go with another layer, and I don't think this is in the rules, haven't found it anyways, as far as controlling territory by national boundaries. So the coalition may control and seize control of Karaganda, which is also a major base. This is deep in Kazakh territory, and then they placed a reinforcement there, which is understandable with 100-kilometer hexes and still all this open area, which in this game you're just not gonna make a continuous line of units, and I'm not sure that would make any difference anyways with 100-kilometer hexes. So I wonder why the designer didn't go with the idea of controlling all Kazakh territory. In other words, a simple thing off the top of my head, if you control a majority of the bases in a country, then you control the territory. But if you don't control, if you control a minority, if you don't control a majority of the bases, you don't control the whole territory, and so therefore you can't put reinforcements in this base. Certainly that sounds like it adds a layer of complication that the designer wouldn't want, but I still wonder about that. Back to the idea of very fluid and in fact very porous front lines. I do think this is actually I do think this has good simulation value for contemporary warfare. Modern armed forces with the full range of capabilities, meaning artillery, long-range artillery, missiles, rotary wing, fixed wing, mechanized forces, tank forces, etc. There are just too many basically tactical and even lower operational options to use the traditional World War II hex and counter system approach. So the fluidity and the porousness of the front lines at this scale and scope actually I think works, and I do think it brings out game challenges that are interesting analogs to real world challenges. Alright, next point. Putin moves south here appears to have so many open-ended strategies. Just fascinating. Just fascinating. Now again, maybe I'm misreading this because I'm playing solitaire right now. But still, in my exploratory play here, it still seems that the design just lends itself to an incredible array of strategies, and like I said, open-ended strategies. This impression, like others up to this point, an initial impression, may turn out to be mistaken, misdirected. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, and this makes for, I think, good simulation, or provides good simulation value. I think it's a good analog to contemporary warfare. Contemporary warfare, and even at this particular scale and scope, is complex, just by its nature. Not automatically, that's the wrong word, but just intrinsically complex. And I think the game here helps convey that. All right, point. Putin moves south here would be. Oh yeah, Putin moves south here would be good for practicing military planning. To make it a better tool for practicing military planning, operational planning, campaign planning. But only if you had players having to plot out. I think plot out. Now, you'd want to fine-tune it. You'd want to fine-tune what I'm saying, but basically, let's just start with a simple system, a simple approach. Players will have to plot out anywhere from 2 to 5 moves, and you can even have that number sway or change during play, and you do it such that, as a matter of fact, you can have C4 ISR levels. I'm thinking of the Millennium Wars, same designer. So you have C4 ISR levels, whatever, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. As a matter of fact, I guess you'd want to make it relate to the number of moves you have to plot out. Okay, but the side that has the better C4 ISR, status, capability, or conditions, that side will have to plot out less moves than the other side. In other words, and that makes it more flexible. Of course, you're still acting as often as now. It's just the number of moves you have to plot out. That, of course, is a good illustration of the idea of operating to get inside an opponent's decision cycle. So if one side with very poor C4 ISR has to plot out 5 moves, and the other side with very good C4 ISR only has to plot out 2 moves, the second side, the side that only has to plot out 2 moves, is going to be drastically more flexible, adaptable, responsive, and just have a huge edge. And yeah, but still have the plotting secret. That would be interesting. So the C4 ISR level of the opponent. Boy, wouldn't it be interesting if you could hide that, but never mind that. Let's just say the C4 ISR level of the other side, but you don't know what they've actually plotted out. That would be interesting, and I would introduce that if this game were to be used to, again, practice and, not demonstrate, but practice military operational planning. Pretty interesting game still. Like I said, lots of strategies, great gameplay.